Yes, guys. How are we all? How are we all? Finally, some good news, I think. Great news. Javi Gracia is an official new coach of Leeds United Football Club on a flexible contract. What does that mean? I think we know what that means, right? Seeing how it goes. If it goes well, I heard something about a extension if we stay promoted. If we stay up, Jesus Christ, if we stay up, if we go down, I don't know. But let's talk about the contract. I don't care about that. I care about the coach. Who is this guy? Who is the coach? Who is Javi Gracia? Well, one thing we do know is at Watford, and the reception from Watford fans is very happy on his tenure there. He went in there when I think they'd won 1 in 11. Under Marco Silva, who is now doing really well at Fulham. Went in there, established a team, calmed the team. They had an identity and got them to 14th in the Premier League. Then the season after actually got them to 11th in the Premier League, which is the higher of a finish, whilst getting to an FA Cup final, which for me is a great feat. With a team like Watford, who were probably not expected to be that high at all. It's a solid position to get in. We know how difficult that is. We saw how good we were first year, and how we managed to reach that. And then since then, we've struggled to even get a win. To finish 11th in the Premier League with a Watford side, having finished 14th, having stabilised the ship and made them competitive, for me, is an excellent thing on your CV. Before that, it was at Malaga, in Spain, which is where he kind of made his name. We did well there under difficult circumstances again. Went to Valencia after Watford. Oh, by the way, he was sacked at Watford after 4 games into the season, which is typical, is it Pozo family? That's what they do, isn't it? Which is just ridiculous. But yeah, so he was sacked at Watford unfairly, in my opinion. I remember at Watford as well. It was the season before we got promoted. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was when he got sacked. Yeah. Was 2 seasons before. But yeah, good side. They had, like Pereira, Di Lafeu, I remember them two were tearing it up. Capoue, great player. So he did good things there. Went to Valencia. Didn't quite work out, I think it's fair to say. Finished, 13th, 14th? But having said that, since then, Valencia now, if you look at the Liga table, are struggling massively. Their team, they sold Rodrigo the year he was there to us. That was the year we got promoted. They sold a lot of their players and didn't invest. And he came out and criticised that, apparently. He came out and said some things about what he thought of that. It was never really right. It never felt right. Went to Qatar, I believe it's Qatar, and won the league there. But didn't really want to carry on with that. I don't think there was a connection there because Xavi had just left them and they had that, whatever. We're here to talk about him. Who is he as a person and what's his style? We'll get into his style first because we usually go the other way around, but we'll get into his style. This is what he does. This is him. Right. Ignore the tabs. These are just news that I've found from him. So he typically plays out of the ball at possession, a variation of a 4-4-2, and this is the current squad we've got fit, and how I think they will fit in that position. Notice how this is the current squad we have fit. This is not including Rodrigo or the other guys that are not fit. And this is probably what you'll see. He likes to play 4-4-2. However, the way he likes to play out of possession is kind of a low to mid block. So what he'll do is these guys will be pivots, Adams and Weston. These guys might sit in like this. They're kind of like central wingers. They play narrow wingers. They play narrow. And with the two up top, what he might do is just sit one him behind like that. So it kind of variates from a 4-2-2, 4-4-2 to 4-2-3-1. Because what he likes, especially against good sides, is he likes to have this sensible block. So basically, the idea is then the width comes from the fullbacks, but out of possession, will most likely look like this with these two sitting deep, these two kind of alleviating that, and one of these guys coming in a bit deeper with Bamford up top. He doesn't press necessarily. He's more about controlling areas, controlling possession, controlling the mid spaces, the mid lines, everything in the middle. I'll just show you here. So you look at this red guy. So against the top teams, what will happen? Teams, they like to play in between the lines. So say you're more advanced like this, right? They play in between these lines, in between fullback and defender, in between midfield and defence, in between midfield and defence, in between midfield and defence. This is where the best teams in the world will play around you and break you apart. So what Javi does, Javi Gracia, great pronunciation, he has these guys cut off any attempt to play through you, right? Do not want people in these half spaces. This is no go, no area. You don't go there. So typically the idea then is the best players might come short for the ball here, right? But the idea is to cut these lines off. Okay, say they want to get a ball in here, to cut these lines off, compact together, nothing in here as a block, right? And the wingers will actually tuck in, which is interesting. We'll get into how our wingers are going to fit into this, because they're not really wingers. And they've got to be very disciplined. So the best player, now the weakness here is if they come across, they're quite narrow again in shape. But what they do then is the ball they force is a long ball over the top, over the fullbacks, which we have seen. However, this isn't quite obvious. They want that. They want to force you to do that because, look, and he said some similar things, Jesse Marsch, in terms of the goal. The goal is great, right? Scoring a goal is great, but you're less likely to score out here than in here, right? Because when you're out here, the task then is to be efficient enough to work the ball into here because the goal doesn't move. So it's efficient to get the ball into there, and you have to be efficient. And that's what they want you to do in this formation. They do not want to give you easy chances in these mid areas here, right? We do not want the ball in here. So we'll do everything to try and make the ball be played out wide. Also with these inverted wingers will tuck in, and you've got a little bit of a blanket here to make them go wide. And obviously if they do break, you're in a bit of trouble. But every system has its flaws and weaknesses. Every single one. But it's interesting because he's known as a giant killer. He got points against Atletico, Barcelona, and Madrid, I believe, every season in La Liga he played. Because of the way he plays, because he shuts up shop and he plays sensible mid-block. But then when you get the ball back in transition, or if you lose the ball in this area here, right? So this bit is slightly similar to Jesse Marsch, not a lot, but slightly, just in the way you defend it, in terms of being narrow in that sense. But it's very different. When you win the ball back here, then it's about not necessarily going forward quick, but maintaining possession. He likes to play with triangles, right? So the midfielder will come in and play it around. You know what I mean? Triangles, simple stuff, basic football stuff, but it works really well. Effective triangles in possession, to be patient with a build-up. It's not about rushing and going forward as quick as you can. It's about patiently building up to give the ball to your best players, to allow them to be in a position where they can then be creative and free. So he likes playing these triangles through midfield and defence to keep the ball and be patient, which is quite different, quite the opposite to what we do under Jesse Marsch, where it was quickly, and in sometimes Bielsa as well, although you could keep the ball in Bielsa. Getting the ball quickly as possible isn't necessarily what we want. We want to absorb the pressure, maintain a good shape, and then use our on-the-ball players to create those passes. Now, this is the problem for me, and we'll go back to the formation. Not the problem, but the problem we'll have to solve. Look, so on the ball now, we're looking more like this, right? We've got two up here. There we go. He likes two up top, 4-4-2, but 4-2-2 more likely. So maybe this. They'll go a bit narrower, and all the width comes from the fullbacks, which where I think Firpo should thrive in this. I think he's been waiting for this type of system since it's arrived. This is how he played in Betis. Was it Betis? Yeah. And I think this will be brilliant for him. But then the issue comes in here. So you can see the shape, kind of. This is an advancing. I'll put the defenders in. But this is advancing. Adam's got the ball. And it's about compacting this midfield to create chances. Can we get them one-on-ones out there? Can we get balls in the box? He likes low or whipped crosses. Thank God. I hate long, high crosses. We're not that team. Obviously, as well, you look at interchanging it. So you've got, say, the fullbacks sit a bit deeper. You've got Gnonto coming short. Bamford could run off. Bamford could come in short. Gnonto could run off. And I don't know if it'll be Gnonto. I don't know. I imagine that. But then this is where the slight issue lies for me, is the midfield. So with these two here, these wingers who are more like attacking right midfielder, attacking left midfielder, who can play slightly, forward and backwards, not necessarily out here, but in here, to leave this area here for the fullbacks. Are these two the right players? Now, these are the guys who are starting for Leeds. If we're narrow like this, or similar to this, is Somerville that person? And I'm looking at when Rocker's fit. Because you want Rocker in the team, because in this system, you need a passer on the ball who can maintain possession. And for me, Rocker is vital to that. He's vital to that for me. So is it a matter of Weston going further up? We know he's athletic. We know he can play there. Maybe dropping Cree or Harrison. One of the two. For this sake, we'll do Cree. We'll drop him. Sitting Rocker and Adams in that double pivot. Weston further up, like that. Weston, as we know, can play box to box. There's decent pace, decent physicality. Harrison, similar. Not an out-and-out winger, in my opinion. He's not quick enough. I don't think he does enough take-ons. Maybe he's a bit more effective in this role. Or potentially, could you do Rocker in there? Connecting the midfield to the attack, to the full-backs. Rocker feeding the passes out to Firpo. Then big long balls out to Firpo and Ayling. Can Rocker do that from here? But Rocker could do that from here. Right? For me, when everyone's fit, this is probably the starting I'd go with. Think. But Harrison's not been performing, so there's an argument there. I think, is this going to... Aronson, potentially, in there. I think that works for me a little bit. Look, people have been criticising Aronson. People forgetting how decent he was the first half of the season. He's probably our best player. There's no doubt about it. I like him in that role, I think. And I quite like this. I quite like this. For me, you need Adams, Rocker and Weston on the field. I think we need all of them on the field. That solidity, when you lose the ball, when we go into our defensive shape, them three in there are vital. Aronson as well, he's good in that shape. When we win the ball back, buzzing, running around quickly. I like Gnonto and Bamford up top. I think Bamford holding it up is decent once he gets his foot on it, which can take like 25 minutes. Gnonto running off him. The width of Firpo for me. Watch Firpo in this system. If it's not going to work at Leeds, it'll be now. If it's going to work, we'll see it. This is important. This is a big one for Firpo, this. Yeah, it's interesting. But I say, like when he gets the ball, he likes to maintain possession and keep it and build up slowly. Which is why, for me, Rocker is vital in this team. But then I'm also looking when Sinny's fit. Your best players, your attacking players. Does he come in for Gnonto? Can Sinny do that job? What's Rutter like under this? Can Rutter do that job? There's options in this. And although you might think it's not ideal, in a way it isn't, because we've got all these great wingers, these great attacking players who are not going to get... Because the double pivot is vital. And for me, you need these three on the pitch. Maybe you'll drop Weston. Maybe you'll drop Rocker. Don't know. I doubt it. But then we're forgetting this man. We're forgetting this man. Who are we forgetting? Roth. Forgetting this guy. Is it like this? Does Rodrigo maybe come in here? Gnonto? Rutter? Like this? What do we think of this? Remember, we could swap these around. For me, though, the idea is that we have options. And this is kind of cliche, but Spanish manager, we have some Spanish players who are decent on the ball. Rodrigo is decent on the ball in the right moments for me. You don't want him too involved, but if he's playing here, maybe he's too involved. But he can give the ball. I just think he needs to understand the system. Firpo is all right on the ball. Rocker is good on the ball. For me, this is the back two. However, when Strauch's fit, there's an argument there. Does he fit in? I think there has been times where he's gone a back five. He's gone with three centre backs. He's gone with this. Where he has been. Oh, I've just moved my line. No. There has been time where he's gone with three centre backs here. Obviously, it's this way around, isn't it? Let's be honest. Like this. He's done this before. I believe. Kind of that. What is that? 5-4-2. That doesn't make sense, does it? I can't. You know what I mean? 3-5-2. 3-5-2. Brain. Yeah. We have them options though. That's my point. So for me, this is. Let me go back to thing. When you're looking at this, there is certainly options. We have they have the personnel. In some way, we have too much personnel. With the wingers, we know Gnonto can play as the attacker. There is even an argument maybe he could play as one of these inverted wingers, but there's a lot of pressure on him. His movement then in the midfield when we lose the ball. For me, I think you need a solid one in there, maybe Weston. Yeah, you sacrifice the pace, but you've got him in there then. And if we need to go into a low block, we've got Weston in there then. Because I have no doubt, for me, these two here are vital in this system. We know what Adams brings and we know what Rocker brings, and in this system it works perfectly. Because when he did it with Watford, he played Will Hughes here, who was more of a central midfielder. So it's interesting. It is interesting. But like I said, there's options here. I don't know, I keep doing that with my hands. You know what I mean? But again, I put Strike there, but there's Cooper as well. Like, come on, there's options in this. And that's what I keep thinking. Like, we have players here. Why are we low in the league? But yeah, this is my point, right? So yeah, it's not really, it's more of a 4-2-2. You know, that's what you'd really see it as, right? As a base. But these guys are more inverted. These guys sit a bit deeper to connect the midfield to the defence. These guys playing here. One of these guys can drop and he can go up. This is how much it can move. You see how it's quite fluid, it's movement to keep the ball. Now look. Will it work? Will it work? Let's go back to my face. This face. Will it work? Now, there's been a lot of journalists. I'm not going to go individually because this is going on too long anyway. But there's been a lot of journalists talking about him. In terms of person, he seems to be very good as a man manager. What I mean by that is he's quite honest and brutal, but he'll get the best out of the player by being honest. That's his way. You know, don't want to blow smoke up the backside. You know, he'll tell them what the situation is, but he's good with people. He's good with a team. He's been in situations at hard, difficult clubs, difficult times, and he's turned it around in quick succession. And that's what I like about him. That's what I like about this. There's a lot, there's a lot of. Just looking at some here. There's a lot of people that say good things about him as a person and how he can fix things. He's a good fixer. So for me, this is what we need right now. Now, if we stay up with him next season, then are you looking at keeping him on? Do we go for the Areolas, who we desperately want? That let's see. But for now, in this moment, I think this is a very good, sensible signing for the club. It's taken a long time. Yes. Is it too late? No, not yet. But it's going to be more difficult, no doubt. If he'd have come in 4 games ago, we'd be an established side now with his methods, and I think it's going to be tough. But I believe in him, like I did Scoobs. I believe in managers, man. No, there's a lot on him. There's a lot on him, and there's a lot of good stuff on Twitter and all over. Just type his name in on Twitter. There's a lot of good articles about his play. They'll go into more detail than I just did. I just did a quick overview. But the basic principles I like: suffocating the opponent in the midfield, stop big teams playing through you, make them go around, but then have that solidity. When we get the ball, can we find a man? Can we move quickly? Can we relax on the ball? Can we be sensible with it? Allow the best players to get in creative spaces to score goals. That's the premise of it, right? It's different, but I think we have the personnel who could suit it. Thinking of Rocker and Adams in midfield there, and Weston with his box-to-box. Just that other one, that winger / attacking midfielder there, that other one, who's going to go in that? It's going to be interesting. Rutter maybe. There's options in there. There's options. I like the fact this is going to free up Firpo. If he just goes, we might go with Strauch, but I presume you go with Firpo. Look, we need this to work. We need this to work as a club. This is huge. Javi Gracia, will he be the man we praise? You know, I've done a lot of. This is just 10% of what I've done him. I'm not. It's just going forever if I did. I just want to talk about his tactics. There's a lot on him that I like. There's a lot of things that could work. Obviously, it's not worked at every club he's been at. I think the best sample size is the Premier League. It was only a few years ago as well. Against a Watford side who were decent. They had decent players, but I don't think they had the depth we had. For me. And he did well there. And he got fired after 4 games, and it was third 4 games, guys. Mental. But look, he's in now. I hope he can get to. I hope he's training right now. He's at him already. Big game against Southampton. Big game. You know, as well, I was talking about Skubala and how calm he is, and it seems this guy has that similar. He can be loud when he wants, but he can calm when he wants, and that's what he's really good with man management. He understands when and where to be loud, when to be authoritative. There's been some things about saying he's quite stubborn in the way he plays. He doesn't change. Once he gets exposed, he keeps with it. But that sounds like our last two coaches, right? A lot of coaches are like that. With better squads, they get exposed less because they're better players, right? That's how it works. Pep Guardiola's system is Pep Guardiola's system. He hardly changes it. He changes the personnel in it, but he hardly changes it. Right? He doesn't get exposed as much because he's got good players, right? Let's see. With these quality, with some of the quality we have in our squad now, let's see how we can progress. Because we need to stay in the Premier League. So Javi Gracia, welcome to Leeds. I'm glad we've got someone in. And you know what? I think it's easy to look at his Wikipedia page, but there's context to a lot of those clubs. He's very liked in Spain by Spanish people, Spanish coaches around. He's very respected. He did well there. He did well in the Premier League. Got to the FA Cup final. Got 11th in the Premier League with Watford, which I believe was like 3 points off Europe or something like that at that time. Like, he's respected, guys. He's a good coach. He's a good crisis coach as well. And we are in that. So let's back him. We will, obviously. Let's take this energy we've got now in this coach, take it to Ellen Road, and let's back him and let's give him everything, all the support we can. Of course you will. Yeah, look. This is good for me. I like this. Will it work? Will it be enough? Let's see. I hope so. Yeah, that's it. I hope you like this. Please leave a like. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, sorry if I sped up and all that. I'm just trying to get through it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. On to Southampton. Whoosh.